Have you ever looked at a dog and just thought, well, they're just naturally shy, or they were born brave? Today, we're going to tear that idea apart. We're diving into something really fascinating, the idea that confidence in our dogs isn't some fixed trait they're born with, but a skill, and it's a skill that we can actively help them build. We're going to explore how you can become the architect of your dog's courage.
So, this is the big question we're tackling. Is it nature or is it nurture? And I think the answer is going to completely change the way you interact with your dog. It's about shifting from just managing their fears to actually building their courage from the ground up.
Okay, so before we can start building anything, we have to know what we're building, right? So let's start by redefining what confidence actually looks like from a dog's point of view. It's all about shifting their world from a place of uncertainty to a place of understanding.
Let me put it this way. You wouldn't expect a little kid to just jump on a two-wheeler and ride off into the sunset. Of course not. They need training wheels, they need you holding the back of the seat, they need lots and lots of practice. Well, guess what? It's the exact same for our dogs. Confidence is built piece by piece through learning and tons of successful repetitions. It's not something they're just magically born with. This is what's going on inside a confident dog's head. This is the goal. We want to get them to a place where they think, you know what, I can try something new. And even if I mess up, it's no big deal. Nothing bad is going to happen. When they understand the rules of the game, so to speak, they can move through the world feeling capable instead of just anxious. Okay, so that's the mindset we're after. How in the world do we get there? Well, the whole structure of canine confidence really rests on two main pillars. Let's dig into the first one. The first pillar is what we call the principle of success. And really, all this means is that we have to be our dog's coach. We have to intentionally set them up to win. We never, ever throw them into the deep end and hope they figure out how to swim. Instead, we start with tiny, super achievable challenges, we give them clear guidance, and we celebrate every little bit of effort. And this is why this is so incredibly powerful. Every single time your dog succeeds at one of these small challenges, it's like making a deposit into their confidence bank. It's a little message that gets sent to their brain that says, see, I can handle this. I got this. And believe me, those small deposits add up really, really fast. Now for our second pillar, which is every bit as important, and that's the principle of safety. Think about it. Real learning can only happen when a dog feels safe enough to get it wrong. If they're worried about getting in trouble or they can sense that we're getting frustrated, they just shut down. They stop trying, and learning completely grinds to a halt. This is the feeling we need to create. It's the freedom to be wrong without any bad consequences. That's the secret sauce that turns fear into curiosity. It lets a dog think, okay, that didn't work, let me try something else, instead of, oh no, I messed up, I better just stop moving altogether. All right, so we've got our foundation in place, success and safety. Now for the fun part, the actual toolkit. Here are some real, actionable ways you can start building bravery in your dog, like today. First up, education. A predictable world is a safe world. I mean, think about it. A pilot isn't scared of a cockpit full of buttons because they've been educated. They know what every single button does. Training does the exact same thing for our dogs. When they learn that certain cues lead to predictable, and more importantly, positive outcomes, their chaotic world suddenly starts to make sense. And that predictability is a massive confidence booster. Next up is harnessing the power of small wins. This is huge. We're not looking for some giant leap of faith here. We're talking about laying one brick at a time. Maybe today's win is just looking at a scary vacuum cleaner from across the room, or taking one single step onto a weird-feeling surface. We guide them, we cheers for that tiny effort, and then we do it again tomorrow. We're building a strong wall of confidence, one tiny brick at a time. And our third tool is all about encouraging their natural curiosity. You know what a dog does when it finally feels safe? It becomes an explorer. So let them sniff, let them investigate new, safe things on their own terms. When they make a brave choice to check something out, reward that. Every time they investigate something and discover for themselves that it's safe, their world gets just a little bit bigger and a whole lot less scary. Now, while we're doing all this great work building our dogs up, there is one major pitfall that we absolutely have to avoid. It's a really common mistake, honestly, and it can do some serious, lasting damage. This huge mistake is called flooding. It comes from that old and frankly terrible idea of just make them face their fears. For a dog, this looks like dragging a dog who's terrified of crowds into a packed park and forcing them to just deal with it. They have no way to escape, and they have zero skills to cope with the situation. And this right here, this is the critical difference. Confidence building is all about
choice. The dog chooses to take that one small step. Flooding is about force. The dog is forced to endure something terrifying. One builds trust and a real belief in their own abilities. The other just erodes confidence and confirms their deepest fear that the world is a scary, awful place. So, after all this, where does that leave us? What's our role in this whole process? Well, it's not to be a commander barking orders. It's to be a teacher, a guide. It's our job to empower our dogs to feel truly capable. So, if you want to boil it all down, it really just comes down to this simple recipe. You need these 4 ingredients. We create an environment of safety. We give them understanding through education. We use those 2 things to engineer lots of small successes. And we just keep stacking those positive experiences one on top of the other. That's how you build a truly confident dog. Ultimately, if you remember one thing, let it be this. Our main job isn't to demand obedience. It's to thoughtfully arrange our dog's world so that they almost can't help but succeed. When we shift our whole perspective and see ourselves as a supportive teacher, the entire dynamic with our dog changes for the better. So I'm going to leave you with this question. It doesn't have to be some big dramatic breakthrough. What's one tiny, totally achievable success that you can set up for your dog right now, today? Because that one little win, that might just be the first brick in building a much braver, happier, and more confident best friend.